Alright, let's dive into this because it's a story that's got a lot more layers than it seems at first glance. Jasmine Paolini withdrawing from the Cincinnati Open. On the surface, it's just another player skipping a tournament. But if you take a step back and think about it, this is a decision that speaks volumes about her strategy, her priorities, and the broader landscape of women's tennis right now. Personally, I think this move is less about Cincinnati and more about the US Open, and what it reveals about Paolini's mindset is fascinating. First off, let's talk about Paolini's season. It's been, well, let's call it mixed. She's won just 16 out of 29 matches, and that foot injury has clearly been a shadow hanging over her year. But here's what's interesting: despite all that, she made it to the Wimbledon quarterfinals. That's no small feat. What this really suggests is that Paolini has the resilience to push through adversity, but she's also smart enough to know when to step back. Withdrawing from Cincinnati isn't just about her foot, it's about preserving her body for the bigger picture, the US Open. Now, let's talk about Cincinnati. Last year, she made it to the final there, so skipping it this year isn't just a casual decision. She's sacrificing 650 ranking points, which means she'll drop to her lowest ranking in 2 years. That's a big deal. But here's where it gets really intriguing: Paolini's statement on Instagram. She didn't just say, "I'm injured," and leave it at that. She said, "The focus is on being 100% ready for the US Open." That's a player who's thinking long-term, not just about the next tournament. In my opinion, this is a calculated risk, one that shows she's prioritizing major titles over smaller wins. What many people don't realize is how much pressure players like Paolini are under, especially when they've had success in the past. She's a 2-time Grand Slam finalist, and expectations are high. But this season, she's had to navigate injuries, inconsistent results, and now, a drop in ranking. It's easy to write her off, but I think this withdrawal is actually a sign of maturity. She's not chasing short-term glory, she's playing the long game. And in a sport where burnout is a real issue, that's a strategy one respects. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Paolini isn't the only big name missing Cincinnati. Emma Raducanu, Victoria Mboko, Hailey Baptiste, all out. This raises a deeper question: what's going on with the women's tour right now? Injuries, withdrawals, and a packed schedule are taking a toll. From my perspective, this isn't just about individual players, it's about the sustainability of the sport. Are we asking too much of these athletes? Personally, I think the tour needs to reevaluate its calendar, but that's a conversation for another day. Back to Paolini. She's got 3 weeks to get ready for the US Open. That's not a lot of time, especially with a lingering foot injury. But here's the thing: she's been here before. She knows what it takes to compete at the highest level. What makes this really interesting is that she's not just aiming to show up, she's aiming to contend. And if she pulls it off, it'll be one of the most impressive comebacks of the season. So, what's the takeaway here? For me, it's this: Jasmine Paolini's withdrawal from Cincinnati isn't a sign of weakness, it's a strategic move. She's betting on herself, on her ability to peak at the right moment. And in a sport where margins are razor-thin, that kind of foresight could be the difference between a good player and a great one. Will it pay off? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, I'll be watching the US Open with a lot more interest now. What about you? Let me know in the comments. Do you think Paolini's decision is the right one? Or is she risking too much by skipping Cincinnati? Let's talk about it.